Hello and welcome to the Humble Penny Show. Ken and Mary speaking. How can we help you?
Hi, is that Ken, really?
Yes,
Hi,
Ken and
hi,
Mary
it is.
speaking.
Hi, Ken and Mary.
What?
Hi. I thought
Hello.
that was an automated thing that would then put me on a group call.
No. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Mark. I'm calling from Surrey.
Hi, Mark, and how can we help you today?
Hi. So I basically retrained to be a vegan chef. I was previously working as a recruitment manager. And wanted a complete career change. Passionate on sort of the vegan, plant-based sort of stuff, and did work experience during lockdown at a local vegan cafe, and they asked me if I'd like to buy it, and I said no, but somehow I ended up buying it, and I'm now nearly 3 years down the line.
Wow.
I had to borrow money to buy the business.
Okay.
And it wasn't as successful as I had hoped.
Mm-hmm.
I had visions. I basically changed it from a kind of a fast food takeaway shop to sort of a sit-in, healthy sort of bowl,
Okay.
treats sort of thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
on the healthier side of things. And yeah, it's basically 3 years down the line. I've got a 5-year lease on it. I go back to working as a recruitment manager to pay back my debts, which I did. I've now come back to the business full time, but it's very tough on the high street. I'm in a small village, and I'm at the point now where I have to take money out of. I've been very diligent with all your advice and putting into ISAs years, but now having supplemented it through going back to working in recruitment, I now have to take out another sort of £5,000 out of my ISA to cover costs and rent and everything. And I guess, should I be doing that? Should I be investing in myself? Because that's obviously important. And actually, if I could make this a success, it could potentially do better than ISAs could. I know they potentially double every 8 years and all that sort of stuff. What do you think I should do?
So Mark, thank you for calling and explaining this situation to us. Now, the first thing that occurs to me is have you actually made any money from this business at all?
Definitely not.
Okay. So when you say definitely not, do you mean there that you've not had any sales or you've not had any profits?
So sales, it's kind of up and down, but
Okay.
I bought the business. I'll give you the numbers if you like.
Sure.
I bought the business for around £32,000.
Yep.
Then sort of on everything else, I was kind of all in for about 50,000. I last year, 22-23, made a 9k loss.
Okay.
But that's partly because I was only open part-time because I was back working in
your
recruitment.
job. Yeah.
So yeah, I was only able to open sort of Thursdays and Fridays and do supper clubs, evening events and things like that. But yeah, I basically a 9k loss.
Okay. And that was last year. And what about the periods before that? Because you bought this over COVID, I seem to remember.
Yeah, so the period before that, I was kind of just about breaking even,
right?
But not able to pay back my debts. So actually, I had a pretty good base salary as a recruitment manager.
Yeah.
So it was the right thing to do, to go back, pay back my debts with a great vision of coming back into this and being able to really make a go of it. But I'm just kind of not sure whether to do that now. I'm definitely not going back to sort of PAYE employment,
right?
If I can help it. But yeah, I know that usually your first one or two businesses aren't the success, and
yes.
I can put it down potentially to lessons learned and move on and do sort of private chefing or whatever without having premises that are involved with that. But if I sell it, people looking at the P&L would just, I don't know if I'd literally just be walking away for someone else to have it off my hands and not getting any money back. I'm not entirely sure.
And thanks for explaining in a lot of detail. Could you potentially sell the business? So I presume you've obviously added a lot of value to the business from a branding perspective. And you said also that you had almost changed it, turned it around from how you bought it initially. So how much value do you think you've added if you had to make a bit of an assessment, do you think?
I mean, from my point of view, I would say I've added a lot in terms of what I provide in terms of benefit to people. But actually, from a cold, hard business point of view, I would say I haven't, because I changed a successful-ish model. You know, I bought with the business, I bought the goodwill, so sort of 1,000 on Instagram, 500 on MailChimp. And yeah, you know, a customer base, and I kind of probably naively changed it. So as a business, probably nothing.
Okay.
Although I get great reviews and everything, and people love the food, you know, 5-star reviews on Google, it doesn't translate to much, really.
So by the sounds of it, you know, if I was in your shoes, and this is what we hope to do with these sort of calls, is just give you a viewpoint on what we would do in your shoes. And then you can kind of just go away and, you know, and think about that. But if I was in your shoes, I would definitely be looking to sell the business. It will be to get somebody to give you a form of evaluation of that business. That would be quite hard, because the business hasn't really been making a lot of money, and I don't know what other assets you have, whether it be physical assets or other forms of intellectual property that the business has developed in these last few years that you've been running it. But there's certainly some value there, because you didn't just buy a business that was worthless. It was working before, you know. But you've been on a bit of a journey, and I wouldn't knock yourself as well. You know, I think that's pretty important.
Exactly, and you've been super proactive in terms of realizing your debt situation, and, you know, going back into work part-time. So you've been very proactive, and well done for doing that, because, you know, it's very easy to accumulate a lot of debt and literally sink in a lot of debt, and people not really knowing what to do, because they're really, really focused on just being able to make that money back from the business. So yeah, and it sounds like you were really, you know, adventurous and ambitious and bold to try and, you know, change up the business model of what was working. And, you know, it sounds like a great idea. I don't know whether it was just volume that you needed, and just more maybe repeat customers. But in terms of, you know, going forward, then, yeah, that might be what to do to sell the business. Unless, of course, are you back on it full time now?
But yes, I'm back within the business full time.
And is it open 5 days a week?
Kind of flipped it, and I'm trying to, because like I said, it's a quite high street. I'm trying to move it to like a meal delivery model. But that takes time to get off the ground, and yeah, I do need to invest more, be better on social media. So actually, potentially, that's it. Do I take that money out, personal savings, and
put it into that
business, and have another go at it for the last 2 years of my contract, my lease, or do I just just leave now and get out of the
so
business?
that is the other perspective, actually, that we hadn't actually factored in, is the fact that, do you have some penalties attached to your lease in these last 2 years?
Well, I suspect if I literally walked away, it would just be that I pay the rent.
Yeah,
that's literally it. I could leave it as an empty shell. I could potentially sort of sublease or get someone to come in and do their thing. And I have had offers for that before, but it's I didn't want sort of you know, people coming in, and some of them were saying they wanted to cook rotisserie chicken and stuff like that, and that just doesn't fit with my ethics. So quite stubborn with that.
Got it. So look, Mark, I'll just tell you what I would do in your shoes is do two things. Continue running the business as best you can whilst you're doing it. But at the same time, I'd get someone in, either through your networks or some recommendations, somebody who can guide you into some form of valuation for this business, to get a sense for, is it actually worth anything at the moment? And if it's worth something, you know, how does that compare to what you've put into the business? one thing's for sure. Look, not every disappointment is a failure. That's one thing I want to make clear to you. Mm-hmm. So embrace the reality of this disappointment and see it as, you know what, I'm going to reframe my perspective here and see this as, could I actually take a step back objectively to see what has gone wrong with this business? Is it that, the type of format I created for my restaurant didn't really work? Is it a location issue? Is it do I not have the right target audience for what I'm trying to do? I think this gives you an opportunity to just take a step back and look at things somewhat objectively. And whilst you're doing that, as you get that valuation, it will give you a sense of, I guess, information, as well as, you feel somewhat empowered though. You've taken that step back and looked at how things are at the moment, as well as knowing if that business is worth anything or not. And with that information, you can decide, should I cut my losses now or not, or should I actually carry on doing this? But the good news is that you have two options, which are carry on as you are, but with the option of getting somebody else to kind of look at this business and potentially start talking about it as well, because, not being funny, there are many businesses that are struggling at the moment, and you're not in a position where it's only you who is struggling, Mark. So many businesses are struggling in the current economic climate. So don't look at it as I've got a business that's not worth anything. If anything, you've actually still got value in that business. It might be better run by somebody else with a different vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I appreciate that. It's good to talk it through as well. You guys have helped me a lot through the years with different things on remortgages and actually just being bold enough to take the step. And I read the book recently as well. And
that's
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, look, make sure
you
leave us.
You guys as well. Incredible.
Thank you.
Make sure you leave us a review, Mark. It'd be really appreciated. Financial Joy. Leave a review wherever you bought it, maybe Amazon or wherever you bought it.
Already have.
Good. Oh, fantastic.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And just remember, like many businesses, on the outside, it looks like the branding might look the same in the name, but they go through so many changes internally in terms of changing their business model, so until they can get it right. So you've learned so much, and there's absolutely so much transferable skills that you can put into whatever this is going to be next. So we're wishing you all the very best, and let us know how you get on.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Take care.
Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.